Because I know you're finding it tricky getting the hip height right when you're trying to pull from the floor. So I just want to show you how you can find it a bit easier and also explain what is happening when you do it. So what I want you to do is find a position off the floor where you're loading your quad and your hip muscles either side of your thigh correctly. So if you've got your quad, the big muscle here, that's doing this. You've got your adductor on the inside and your glute on the outside, which are going to help you to basically load your hips in and make sure that you're able to get good hip extension at the top. They're also going to help you to sit into position and hold the weight of the bar. Because if you don't load your hips, all the weight is just going to go into your quads and your low back, which we don't want. We want as much weight as possible in the hip muscles. So what I actually want you to do is do that thrower snatch variation to get into position, okay? So if I just pick the bar up from the floor, right, and I go into the hip, what I'm then going to do, instead of keeping the bar here in this really deep hip hinge position like this, so see here, so it's really deep in my hip, I don't even have to hold it. I'm then just going to let the bar fall out of the hip, and then I'm just going to bend my knees, but keep my hips back to reach the floor. And you should notice my hips are still loaded. Okay, so hopefully you can see that I've still got this really deep hip flexion. My butt is back, so I'm loaded through my hip. Whereas if I drop my hips like this, yes, I've still got hip flexion, but it's not very active. My hips can't do much from here because they're not loaded. In order to load your hip, to load your back, you need to be a bit more horizontal over the bar like this. So that's the position I'm trying to get you to find. And you can do the same thing for the clean. So if I go from the top, again, push the bar really far back into that hip crease so it stays there without me having to hold it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here, but I'm going to let the bar roll out the hip crease. And then I'm going to bend my knees just enough to touch the floor. And look where I'm at. I'm in a nice quad dominant position where my hips are still loaded. That's the position that you want to be in. So try and do that a couple of times just to find the position. And then if you still kind of struggle to get it when you're pulling it straight from the floor, when you go to set up, something that I sometimes like to do is set up, find where you want your feet to be, get your thumbs and press them back into your hip crease and treat them like the bar. And keep going back until you feel that deep hip hinge, like this. So feel it, feel your glutes get big, feel your glute stretch, feel your hip hinge, then grab the bar, and then pull yourself down a little bit more into it without allowing the hips to just drop. If you practice that with the empty bar or the lightweight for the top down version I showed at the beginning, and then when you're setting up your heavier weights, just step in, find that hip hinge, find that deeper position here. So your butt gets big and your hip gets deep. Then grab the bar. You should find it a lot easier to find the correct hip height because you'll feel tension in your glutes and your quads together rather than starting from the bottom and trying to be like, I wonder where that position is. Where's my hip height supposed to be? Try that out. I've tried it with a few of the other Ronins already and it has worked quite well, especially